organized, and they want to start a tradition of everybody wearing war paint. And a lot of people don't like to paint up their faces, so they have the stick-on kind, and it'll be available for the next home game.
Well, the fans at Lincoln are roaring as they anticipate the second half getting underway. And it's no secret that the Seminoles are going to have to continue to play tough defense and get their offense a little bit more in gear. 46 yards total offense isn't going to beat many teams, let alone Nebraska.
Well, it's such a pleasant day. You're not going to wear anybody down in the heat. FSU has beaten some teams at the end on conditioning, but you're not going to do that here. So they're going to go head and head, and I think Capice is about ready to kick it there.
Yes, he is. Bill Capice, the Seminoles in their gold pants and white shirts, moving left to right. There's Billy. And back to receive the kickoff, number 33, Anthony Steele, number 7, Ricky Simmons. The referee blows the whistle, and we're set to go with second half action here from Lincoln. Tom Mees with Jim Crosby. Hope you're enjoying it despite the deficit. And look at this. Capice's kickoff leaves the end zone. So Nebraska will start first and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Also back there in the area was Roger Craig to field that one, but he had no chance.
Well, I think Capice wants to show he can kick just as well as that Nebraska kickoff man who kicks them through the uprights a lot. But Capice has been kicking them out of the end zone there.
Capice was ready to kick when we saw him last night in front of the hotel. He looked really like chomping at the bit.
That's right.
All right, it'll be first and 10 Nebraska at their own 20-yard line. The man who's done most of the damage for Nebraska, Todd Brown, the split end, has split out to the left side on first down. And Jeff Quinn hands off to Jarvis Redwine, who falls forward for about 3.5 yards. Reggie Herring, the primary man to bring him down.
All right, they want to hold them down here and try to get good field position, get on the board quickly here in the second half before momentum comes back to Nebraska. FSU was playing pretty good ball toward the end of the first half.
Yes, they were. That last drive was impressive, even though Bobby Bowden, I'm sure, was disappointed he didn't end up with a touchdown and had to settle for the 3. A gain of 3 for Redwine, who now has 93 yards in the day. It'll be second and 7. And Quinn will decide to keep it, will not pitch it out, and he has just short of the first down, gain of about 6 yards. Monk Bonasort coming up, along with Paul Porowski and Ron Simmons. They're going to place it, Jim, at the 29-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Just good blocking on the right side of that line there that time by Randy Schleusner and Dan Hurley, opening up a hole.
And Schleusner is 6'7", 242. He doesn't miss a meal. And he can really move some people around out there. 3rd down, 1 yard to go. The handoff to Redwine. He's got the first down over the 30 to the 32-yard line. Thought for a moment he might have bobbled that ball, but he did not. Redwine hangs on for a gain of about 3. And it's first and 10 for the Cornhuskers at their own 32-yard line.
Nebraska is noted for being a big play offense, not a ball control offense. But when they came out against Penn State last week, and in the third quarter, they controlled the ball for 11 minutes. They may be trying to do that here.
Now let's see what happens. I know Florida State doesn't want to see him have the ball for 11 minutes. Quinn gives to Redwine, and this time Redwine is stopped on a good play inside by the Florida State defense. And in that area, we'll see who made the tackle. Number 67 for the Seminoles, Mark Motzik, brought him down.
Got another look at it here coming up, Tom. And you see Ron Simmons being pushed away by the center, Dave Remington, who's one of the fastest centers I've ever seen. He gets off the ball so quickly you think he's offside, but it's right after he snapped it.
Motzik and Arthur Scott. Arthur Scott actually made the primary hit that time for Florida State. No gain on the play for Redwine. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Man in motion. And we have a flag on the play. The pass is complete across the middle. It is complete to the tight end, Jeff Finn, for the first down, ostensibly, but hold everything. It's flag day back at the line of scrimmage, and I'm sure it's going to be against Nebraska.
All right, let's see if we can pick up what the infraction was. A little bit of a bobble there. There may have been something, an illegal procedure or something in that line. I believe Paul Porowski was somewhat screened by the referee on that back there.
The illegal procedure is the call, and of course Florida State will accept the penalty. It will march the ball back to the 27-yard line or that vicinity. And instead of a first down for Nebraska, it'll be 2nd down and 15 yards to go. So a break in some measure, at least for Florida State, is coming into the ball game for the Cornhuskers. Anthony Steele. He replaces Tim McCready, and Steele is a very dangerous receiver, as is Todd Brown, and both of them are split. So it's 2nd down and 15. The back still in the I formation. 14-3 the score if you're just tuning in on 27. Here's the pass out on the flat. It goes to Redwine, and Redwine is brought down for no gain. And the man bringing him down, Mark Motzik from Wyandotte, Michigan, he made the tackle.
And the man that made the play was Keith Jones. He came up quickly and refused to be blocked out there, and he got his hands on him, slowed him down a little bit, and Motzik had reacted quickly also and put the hit on him.
That's the same play that the Cornhuskers scored on last week at Penn State. Played just like that, but Florida State was there waiting for it. Big play now, 3rd down at 15. A passing down for Jeff Quinn. See if the Seminoles decide to blitz anybody. They do not. Quinn straight back to throw. Looking over the middle. Got a man open, but the man fell down. And that was John Noonan. Noonan was in front of Larry Harris. But luckily for Florida State, or make that James Harris back there. Luckily for the Seminoles, Noonan fell down, and Nebraska will have to punt.
The ball was thrown behind him, and the Seminoles are going to get the ball now as a result of that.
So in to do the punting duties, only for the second time today that I can recall, as we take a look at the Florida State sideline briefly there, is number 1, Scott Gimard. Back to receive is Gary Henry. He's standing in the vicinity of his own 25-yard line. Gimard will get this off from about the 17. Here comes the rush. It's a fumbled snap, and Florida State has it. The Seminoles, 1st and 10 at the Nebraska 17-yard line. And on top of that football, I believe, is Harvey Clayton, number 24.
It's breaks like this that turn ball games around, and let's take a look at it again on the replay. The snap is right to him. He just lost concentration, I think, and didn't grab it. And the Seminoles have the ball on the 17-yard line. You see right back there, that was Bobby Butler. And
Butler finally got it. Butler and Clayton were both there. Okay, 1st and 10 for the Seminoles. Stockstill back to throw. Out of the backfield for Whiting. He's got it at the 20, to the 15, and down to the 12-yard line. A gain of 5 for Michael Whiting.
all right, there was a pretty good rush on there, and Stockstill had to get it away a little more quickly than he wanted to. If he could have led Whiting properly, that might have been 6, because Whiting had to take a little time to get started. As you look at Dr. Osborne, Tom Osborne, the coach who's won 62 games, or 68 games here since '73.
It is 2nd down and 5 for the Seminoles, deep now in Husker territory. Nebraska almost offsides. A long snap count. The pitch back to Sam Platt. Platt is down to the 10-yard line. Gain of 2 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and about 3 for the 1st down. And the biggest play of the ball game so far for the Florida State offense, because, Jim, you got to come up with more than a field goal here.
Yes, they need a score very badly, and it looks like they're trying to make a decision there. They're going to send in Sam Childers, which means they'll probably throw. I looked to see if they would send in Bolta Petty. That would be a tip-off as to whether they were going to run or not. I believe they're going to put it up this time.
Well, Childers is in there with the other tight end, Zeke Mowat. So that would normally indicate a running play.
That's right.
Let's see what happens. It's 3rd and 3. The fake to Platt. Back to pass. Stockstill incomplete. Intended for Childers at the 5-yard line. And back there guarding Childers was Russell Gary, the strong side safety.
All right, Nebraska was ready for this. I believe that's the same play they scored the touchdown on at Miami, with Childers in the corner of the end zone. And Sam tried to put a little fake on him there, but Stockstill's pass was overthrown. And it was pretty good coverage there. Would have had to be a perfect pass.
All right, the ball is being marked on the 17 for Bill Capice's field goal attempt. It'll be a 27-yarder, angle to the right. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So with 10:49 left to go in the 3rd quarter, the score now, Nebraska 14 and Florida State 6. So the fumble, the snap by Nebraska's punter Scott Gimard ends up in a Bill Capice field goal at 27 yards, and the Seminoles are within 8 points to the Huskers now, with still lots of time in this game. 10:49 left in the 3rd quarter. Billy Capice is in position to kick off. Back to receive the kickoff, Ricky Simmons and Roger Craig for the Cornhuskers standing at the goal line. I'm Tom Mees with Jim Crosby, and this kick is out of the end zone, and Nebraska will have to let that one bound out of there and take it 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Some scores, Jim.
All right, Clemson beating Virginia Tech, a future FSU opponent, 13-7 in the 3rd quarter. UCLA 17-0 in a surprise over Ohio State in the 3rd quarter. Penn State losing to Maryland, 21
Missouri. That's Missouri.
I'm sorry, 21-16 in the 3rd quarter. Alabama with a tough battle at Kentucky, leading 14-0. And as you said, it's 23-21. Michigan, Notre Dame now ahead of Michigan in the 4th quarter.
Notre Dame ahead of Michigan State in the 4th quarter.
And that's 6 minutes left in that ball game.
Okay, 1st and 10 for Nebraska in their own 20. The pitch out to Redwine, and he gains no more than 2 yards. Reggie Herring coming up from his linebacking spot to do the containment. It'll be 2nd down and 8 yards to go, and that carry, even though it's only for a couple of yards, may put Redwine right at or over the top of the 100-yard mark for the day.
He should be pretty near it. He had 90 in the first half, and he's run the ball 3 times, I think, coming back here in the second half.
It'll be 2nd down and 9. They give Redwine only a gain of a yard, although they put the ball 2 yards upfield. That's something screwy there. All right, 2nd down and 9. We'll go with the scoreboard. And the give is to the up-back, Andre Franklin, and Franklin is belted down hard by the Seminole defense in there to hit him first was big number 64, Jarvis Coursey, and only a gain of about 3 on the play. The ball is up to the 24 to be 3rd down and 6.
Seminole defense has frankly gained the respect of Nebraska here up to this point, but really they didn't come in looking for respect. They came in looking for a win today, and this Seminole team was determined to get one, and they still have a shot at it. Just 8 points down.
Very definitely. 14-6 the score, and still just less than 10 minutes to go down the 3rd quarter, so there's all day left. Redwine leaves, and Craig Johnson comes in to replace him on a big 3rd and 6 play. Jeff Quinn making the run. Quinn under pressure, has to get it away. It is incomplete, or is it? It's complete. Oh, what a catch. What a catch by number 29, Todd Brown. He beat Monk Bona short. I didn't think he had a chance in the world of hanging on to that ball.
This Todd Brown is very, very impressive. Let's watch him. It was pretty good pressure on Quinn. Quinn was very cool, threw it just before Jarvis Coursey hit him, and he was actually throwing for steals, I believe, and Todd Brown with great concentration on the ball.
That was Bobby Butler defending on that play, and Bobby was there, but that was a perfect throw. 1st and 10 for the Cornhuskers. Big play for them. Gets it up to their 47-yard line. I apologize for calling it incomplete, but the angle there was deceiving. Here's the pitch out to Andre Franklin. He'll be dragged down for a loss back at the Nebraska 45. And Paul Porowski makes the tackle, and that was Craig Johnson on the carry. Not Franklin, Craig Johnson.
Craig Johnson coming in to spell Jarvis Redwine, and Paul Porowski, who was in on 20 tackles last week against Miami, 10 outright by himself, made a very fine defensive play. This is big-time college football here, Tom.
Big time at its best, no doubt about that. Steve Davies, reserve tight end, is in there on the left side, and Todd Brown, who's caught 2 touchdown passes today, is flanked wide at the top of your screen. It'll be 2nd down and 12. A loss of 2 on that last play. Quinn rolling to the right, wants to throw the ball. He does. It is intercepted by Keith Jones. Jones is inside Nebraska territory, and the Seminoles have a 1st down at the Nebraska 46. Great play by Jones. The pass was intended for Johnson.
I was watching Keith Jones, and those safeties try to read the quarterback's eyes, and he knew that was going as a wobbly pass, didn't have enough zip on it. Keith Jones played it perfectly, and the Seminoles are right ready to get back in this game in Nebraska territory.
That ball was intended for Todd Brown. Again, some of these numbers in the Nebraska sunlight are hard to read. But at any rate, we do know that Florida State is the 1st down. They mark it on the Nebraska 47. So let's see what the Seminoles can do now. 1st and 10. The fake to Platt. Stockstill rolling right. Throwing complete to Zeke Mowat. Zeke Mowat down to the 40-yard line. A gain of 7, and it's 2nd and 3.
Zeke Prendergast Mowat.
You're kidding me. That's his middle name?
Prendergast is his middle name. He's from Wauchula, Florida. They think he's going to be a great one. Watch Zeke in action. Notice the protection now. You couldn't ask for better protection. Started the game when Nebraska was firing out. Now FSU has them off balance.
Well, FSU getting that fumbled punt early in the 3rd quarter, and now the interception. The pitch back to Sam Platt. Platt inside the 40. Platt stays on his feet. Down to the 37. He is near the 1st down. It will depend where they mark the ball again. How many times have we had close plays on 1st downs?
The Seminole offense is gaining confidence by the 2nd, Tom.
3rd down, about a half a yard. They're going to mark it at right on the 37-yard line, and the Seminoles have to get to the 36.5. Wouldn't you know it? All right, 3rd down and less than 1, and that's the Nebraska defensive unit, which has been pushed around a little bit, frankly, in the 2nd half. But coming into the game for the Seminoles, at tight end for some blocking is Barry Voltepetty, and out comes Hardis Johnson.
That pretty much ensures that they're going to run it. Voltepetty is a good blocker.
Well, you know the coaches say if you can't pick up a half yard, don't deserve to win anyway on the ground. Pitch back goes to Sam Platt. He's got the 1st down and more. He is dragged down at the Nebraska 32-yard line, making the stop for the Cornhuskers, number 9, Russell Gary.
Sam Platt's running as well as he has run all season, and he has had 2 games where he gained more than 100 yards. He was disappointed with his effort last week when he only gained 20 yards, but people are going to come to realize that was a very, very tough Miami defense that FSU played against last week.
And again, on this play, we're going to have Zeke Mowat in there with Sam Childers, so 2 tight ends in there. On 1st and 10, out comes Hardis Johnson. The ball is placed at the Nebraska 32-yard line. Let's see if the Seminoles can convert this interception by Jones into points. Here goes Stockstill, going to keep it. Rick Stockstill inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. Stockstill, I think, discretion the better part of valor on that play as he went down more of his own accord than somebody hitting him.
But one of the things that has loosened up their defense, too, is the fact that Stockstill is running some now. If he sees everybody dropping back, he's going to run it, and they got to be wary of that. The more things you can get them thinking about, the better situation you got.
Second down, 2 yards to go for the Seminoles. Ball just inside the Nebraska 25. Stockstill sets his team down. Rick Stockstill gives now to Platt. Platt avoids a blocker. Sam Platt inside the 20, and he drives to the 17-yard line before being dragged down by Andy Means, the right cornerback. First down.
We're going to have a look at Sam Platt on this first down. Fakes to one direction and gets them off balance to the left and cuts back and shows good speed to the outside. Then just lowers his head and his power football right there for first down for the Seminoles.
That's Andy Means, who gets an awful lot of ink out here. He's one of the 5 cornerbacks around in the Big 8, but it's a 1st and 10 situation now for the Seminoles. The ball is on the 17. 14-6 the score. Florida State trailing. Stockstill rolling to his right. On the run, throws. First and goal at the 5-yard line. Make it the 4.
I was watching Phil Williams all the way. He ran a beautiful pattern, as we're going to see this on the replay. Stockstill with the play action to freeze the linebackers, and Williams ran right down to the sideline or to the goal line and then came back a couple of steps, and he was wide open, and the Seminoles have a first and goal.
All right, they marked the ball, Jim, back at the 6-yard line, but it's still a first down and goal. Hardis Johnson comes out of the game. Phil Williams will go split to the top of your screen. Zeke Mowat and Sam Childers, the 2 tight ends in there. Whiting and Platt are the setbacks. The pitch out to Sam Platt. Platt for the touchdown! Sam Platt for the touchdown! 6 yards, and the Seminoles are within 2 points of the Cornhuskers.
How about that? Sam Platt on the right side. I almost knocked myself out on the glass here, Tom. I was so excited about that. And watch Platt on the touchdown run as he lowers his head. And it's 14-12. They're going to go for 2 to try to tie this thing up.
That's right. Bobby Bowden goes for 2 now. Even if he misses, he's really not that much worse off, because a field goal would still put you ahead. Well, Rick Stockstill has called a timeout, so with 5:17 left to go in the 3rd quarter, the score: Nebraska 14, Florida State 12. We'll be right back. His 2-point extra point effort, which would tie the ball game, is if successful. Keith Jones' interception has led to the touchdown. Now let's see if Stockstill can push it in for the 2. The crowd is roaring at Lincoln. Stockstill back to throw, rolling to his left. Does throw, it is incomplete. No good. So with 5:17 left to go in the 3rd quarter, the score remains Nebraska 14 and Florida State 12. We'll be right back. I'll tell you what, Jim, the Cornhuskers in Nebraska know they're in a football game now, as Ricky Simmons and Anthony Steeles are back to receive Bill Capi's kickoff. There's 5:17 left in this 3rd quarter, and take heart, Seminole fans. The lead for Nebraska is only 2. It was 14-3 at halftime, a Capi's field goal, and a touchdown run by Sam Platt. It's 14-12. That 2-point conversion was attempted for Phil Williams. It was incomplete. And Nebraska will again have to take the ball 1st and 10 at the 20, as Ricky Simmons has no choice but to down Capi's kickoff in the end zone.
Well, Tom, the only thing that missed 2-point conversion means is that the game's not tied right now. I don't think has destroyed FSU's momentum at all.
No.
They know they've got a whole quarter and plus 5 minutes, 20 minutes left in this game, and they know that they're handling Nebraska right at this point.
At this point, momentum, who plays for just about every team in the country, is on Florida State side. Okay, let's see what the Seminoles can do now to stop Nebraska. Quinn and company, 1st and 10 at the Husker 20. The backs in the I formation. And Quinn is throwing incomplete and almost intercepted. It was intended for the tight end, Jeff Finn. How do you like that? Jeff Quinn to Jeff Finn. It'll not get you, but Reggie Herring was in the area. The ball was tipped off of Quinn's hands, and in fairness to Florida State, they couldn't have anticipated that ball for an interception.
Yeah, Bobby Butler, if he had looked up instead of making the tackle, which you can't do, you got to make that tackle there, he could have had an interception. Maybe.
Tim McCready is split out now, along with Todd Brown, the burner who's caught 2 touchdowns today from Quinn, both from short range. Quinn wants to throw again, now decides to pitch out instead to Jarvis Redwine. He's got some room. Jarvis Redwine up to the 40, but we've got a penalty flag, and I believe we're going to have a clip against Nebraska. Let's see. Redwine is out of bounds at the 41. We're going to see this again.
All right, on the replay, we'll see where the clip occurred, I believe. I think they clipped Monk Bonasorte. I'm not sure. But you see, he has plenty of time there to let the play develop, and that's bad news. because that gives Redwine right there. There's the clip on the ground there. It took somebody right out of the play. I couldn't see the number. And Jarvis Redwine's gain is wiped out by a clip.
So a big break for the Seminoles now as they'll march Nebraska instead of up at their own 41. They're going to march the ball back now from the point of the infraction, which was the 35. It'll put it back at the 20, which was the original line of scrimmage when this drive started. So all things are back to the beginning, with one exception. It is now 2nd and 10 from the 20 instead of 1st and 10.
The Nebraska Cornhuskers are trying to win the 199th game played in the history of this Memorial Stadium. It'd be their 199th win. I'm sure that they're nervous about it right now.
2nd and 10. Todd Brown, the only split receiver. He split far, and I mean far, out to the left. Jeff Quinn giving a ball to Jarvis Redwine. Redwine picks his spot up over the 25 to the 27. Redwine eluded the tackle of James Gilbert. Gilbert had him around the ankles, but could not contain him. And the tackle was finally made by Jarvis Corsi.
Here's the replay. You see Gilbert grabs him and lets him get away. This is a twisting, whirling man to bring down, the I-back, Jarvis Redwine.
3rd down and 3 yards to go. Pickup of 7 on that play for Jarvis. Ball at the Cornhusker 27. Obviously, they have to get to the 30. A long count by Quinn. He fakes to Redwine, keeps it himself, and Quinn has got the 1st down up to the 34-yard line. A good fake that time by Jeff Quinn. And it took the Seminoles James Harris to bring him down. Let's see the play again.
Watch the action in the backfield. You see the fullback going right up the middle.
Good
Redwine following him. And now he fakes. He fakes like he's going to pitch out to that wingback coming around and keeps it.
1st and 10 Nebraska at their own 35-yard line. So the Cornhuskers overcome that last clipping penalty. Quinn the pitch out to Redwine this time, and Redwine is stopped almost at the line of scrimmage. Fumble, and Florida State has the football. Jarvis Redwine fumbles. Let's look at it again.
I believe Reggie Herring is the man that knocked him free of the ball, and let's watch it on the replay and see it. But a tremendous break for the Seminoles, and they are threatening to go ahead now. Jarvis Redwine, watch Mr. Intensity. Reggie Herring lower his head, put it right on the ball, and knock it out of Redwine's grasp.
And Alfonso Carricker, number 76. Alfonso Carricker comes up with a football for Florida State. And the Seminoles have a chance to go into the lead if they can put some points on the board. 1st and 10 at the Cornhusker 34. Stockstill giving the ball to Platt. He is going to be dragged down for a loss to the 39. And a big play for the defensive front four, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. In there was Toby Williams. And also in there for Nebraska, we're going to look at that play again with Mike Bruce.
Henry Waxter, 275, is also in there, and he's got him in a death grip there. The Seminoles lost yardage, so they got to come back and hit a pass here.
All right, the loss on that play, 5 yards back to the 39. It is 2nd down and 15. Phil Williams is split to the right. Hardis Johnson split to the left. And Whiting, the only setback, he'll get the pass out of the backfield. Mike Whiting gets some good yardage down to the 36-yard line, but it's only a gain of 3, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 12.
Well, I look for that wide receiver offense in there on this one. Well, let's see as we take a look at the instant replay. And Stockstill, they're getting good pressure once again. He's not getting the protection he did in that last drive. That touchdown woke up the Nebraska defense, and you see it's just some swarming red shirts around there bringing him down.
Zeke Mowat comes in with a play from Coach Bobby Bowden. 3rd down and 13 yards to go for the Seminoles. They have it at the Cornhusker 37. Stockstill straight back to throw. Got the protection over the middle. Complete to Michael Whiting. Michael Whiting has the 1st down at the Cornhusker 21. And the tackle on the play by Russell Gary, the strong safety.
All right, let's watch this play. This is an exciting one. Michael Whiting delayed and came over the middle as the wide receivers were going down deep and taking all the secondary back there. He gets behind the linebacker. He's got wide open spaces and gets a 1st down.
1st and 10 Florida State at the Nebraska 22. 14-12 Nebraska. They give to Whiting, the up back in the I formation, and he is brought down by number 97 for the Cornhuskers. And that would be, let's check.
That's Toby Williams.
Toby Williams, all right. He's hasn't made that many tackles today, but Toby brings him down. He's a 6'4", 244-pound sophomore out of Washington. A gain of 4 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 6 from the 18.
All right, that's Jimmy Williams' brother. They put him back in with, they got the brother combination at end and tackle there now.
Double split receivers now for Florida State. Phil Williams and Hardis Johnson. The fake to Platt out of the backfield. Stockstill over the middle for Williams. Incomplete. Williams wanted pass interference. The referee will hear none of it. Covering on that play for Nebraska is Rick Lindquist.
Boy, it sure could have been a call one way or another. In fact, Stockstill went all the way downfield to check on it because Williams, frankly, was trying to cut back into the middle, and the guy was holding him up. He wasn't holding him physically, but he was in his way, leaning against him.
So another big play, Jim, for the Seminoles on this drive. 3rd down and 6. Should they not make it, they're well within Bill Capice's field goal range. But Bobby Bowden wants the touchdown, as I'm sure all the fans in Tallahassee watching this game do. 3rd down and 6. Williams in motion. Stockstill gets the snap. And a give on the reverse to Whiting. Whiting cuts back, no gain. In fact, he lost 3 yards. And Nebraska was not fooled on that play. Derry Nelson making the tackle.
All right, Bill Capice is going to have an opportunity to tie it up as you watch this loss, and some of the fans who do not like the reverses that FSU runs, that Bobby Bowden likes to stick in there to keep the defense honest, won't like that one because it went for a big loss.
All right, this is going to be a 40-yard attempt by Capice. 30-yard line is where he'll kick it from. The snap is good. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Florida State has the lead with 1:16 left to go in the 3rd quarter. The score, Florida State 15, Nebraska 14. We'll be right back. 3 turnovers by the Nebraska Cornhuskers here in the 3rd quarter have led to a Florida State Seminole lead of 15-14. Bill Capice, the momentary hero with that 40-yard field goal, putting Florida State on top, and Bill is ready to kick off. And back to receive for the Nebraska Cornhuskers will be Ricky Simmons in company with Anthony Steeles. Capice kickoff carries Nebraska back into the end zone, and we're going to have a run back on this play. A run back up to about the 13-yard line by Roger Craig, who was inserted there at the last moment. And Craig is brought down hard at the, well, they're going to mark it at the 12 and a half.
That was Ron Hester who came down and made a very fine tackle. And Bill Capice from Chaminade High School in Hollywood, Florida, is putting on quite a show here today. He's really stole the show with his field goals and his long kickoffs.
I'll tell you, that punt snap that was bobbled, the interception by Keith Jones, and the fumble by Jarvis Redwine have cost Nebraska the lead, and the Seminoles now hang on to the 1-point lead as we have 1:12 left in the 3rd quarter. Nebraska goes 1st and 10 from their 13-yard line. And now let's see if Jeff Quinn and company open it up. The pitch out to Jarvis Redwine. You know you got a key on him, and Ron Simmons does just that, as he and Mark Motzik bring Redwine down after a 3-yard gain up at the 16.
The Seminole defense has gotten the picture that they can do the job here, and that, you know, this is how important field position is, Tom. Nebraska hasn't had any field position this half.
That's right. I tell you, you can't get too tricky back here in your own end, because a turnover here is really murder on you. The Seminoles hoping for another one, hoping they can force it. Here goes Quinn. He wants to throw. It is incomplete, intended for McCready, covering over there Bobby Butler, but Butler had good position, and the throw, frankly, was not a good one from Quinn.
I want to point out that there's a man in there at defensive tackle now who just made a big play a few plays back, getting his first extensive playing time in a Florida State uniform, number 76, Alfonso Carricker. This guy is going to be a super player in the future. And he's a defensive tackle right now, playing here at Lincoln, Nebraska.
It'll be 3rd down and 6 yards to go for Nebraska. Big play for the Big Red, or the Cornhuskers, if you will. Simmons, the nose guard, starts to make a charge in there, and the pass is dropped out to Redwine. He's at the 20, and that's as far as he'll go. Actually, the 19, when Bobby Butler brings him down in company with Keith Jones.
Yeah, I believe that's Keith Jones made the hit. Whenever you see a solid tackle that backs him up like that in the secondary, most of the time it's Keith Jones that made that tackle. Now let's watch it. This is totally dangerous to let Redwine get out here with the ball. And you see a nice block out there. Took Corsi out of it. But Jones with a solid tackle. If he hadn't made that, it's bye-bye.
Scott Gamar is back in the punt. He'll take the snap at about his 5, get it off from about the 10, and back in single safety, Gary Henry at the Seminole 35-yard line, and we have an official timeout, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter of play. With the score, Florida State 15, Nebraska